Welcome. In front of me I have the Xiaomi 17T Pro, and in this video I'll be going over unboxing along with a quick look at the newly released phone from Xiaomi, and also check out its specifications, build quality, and give you my general thoughts and opinions as I go along with giving you a bit of a recommendations also from Xiaomi of other devices that I find it to be better than what we have right here. So anyway, let's get straight into this. Two seals to cut through. And while I'm digging my way into the phone, I do want to quickly mention I am in no way sponsored by Xiaomi, no other device manufacturers or anything like that. So what I'm going to say here is completely uninfluenced by, well, any monetary kind of incentive or anything like that. It's just my general thoughts and opinions when it comes down to it. So inside here we get our cable, Type A to Type C, no surprise. Our energy rating sticker, which gives us roughly 71 hours of battery life, some paperwork, and then a gray silicone case. I really like the fact that it's gray instead of the clear kind of clear silicone ones, as these get nasty yellow tint to it after some time. This obviously doesn't have that problem. And then we get the phone itself with some info, but we're going to be going through that ourselves. There we go. So here's our device. Let's boot it up. And while it's booting up, I'm going to start off with the build quality. So in terms of build quality, we're looking at the front being corner Gorilla Glass 7i. We have aluminum frame and glass back. Now the back is glass specifically for the reason that this device actually supports wireless charging at whopping 50 watts, which is pretty good. Now at the front, and covered with a Gorilla Glass 7i, we have a 6.83 inches of display with a resolution of 1280 by 2772 pixels, which is roughly close to 1440p resolution right here, or 1440p. It has an AMOLED display, 68 billion colors, 144 Hz refresh rate, 3800 Hz pull rate, Dolby Vision certification along with HDR10 Plus certification, and a peak brightness of 3500 nits. And those 3500 nits are in the typical kind of bullshit, whopping, 4 to 8,000, or more like 8,000 nits that manufacturers started lying about. So this is more real life scenario. 3,500 is what you actually get right here, opposed to other manufacturers being like, yeah, we got 8,000 nits of brightness with a single pixel being overdriven to its limit for a single second before it burnt out. Yeah, that's our 8,000 nits that you will never get to see. Here we get to see it, as you see right now. It's completely overblowing my camera. Now this in a moment will disappear. Now I do want to mention, peak brightness doesn't mean usable brightness by you. Peak brightness refers to brightness that gets automatically boosted, like I just did with that flashlight, when the phone detects that there is a bright environment. Typically that happens when you go outside into direct sunlight. It will boost that brightness up to that 3,500 nits. Other than that, if you're trying to use it and crank up the brightness slider, it won't get there. So something to keep in mind, but this is still bright enough to get you through anything that you need. Direct sunlight shouldn't be a problem here. Now, let me quickly set it up. So, continuing on with the display though, we have 91.1% screen to body ratio, which is clearly visible right here. These are absolutely minuscule bezels all around, which is looking pretty damn nice. And we also have 447 pixels per inch. So the display right here is very dense, meaning everything should be super sharp on it. And generally, if you don't really understand what I was saying about these specifications right here for the display, just know that the display right here checks basically every box in terms of premium display that you would ever be looking for. It's bright, it's vibrant, has great display type, great smoothness to it, and everything about it is just very good. So Xiaomi definitely didn't hold any kind of didn't try to skimp out on the cost of the display. This is superb. Now, moving on into the cameras, which I'm trying to finish up the setup so I can get to this. We have a dual 50 megapixel sensors at the back and a single 12 megapixel ultra wide at the back, which I'm going to flip in a second to get to while it's doing this. So we have periscope right here. So that's the 50 megapixel, and to be more precise, this is a 50 megapixel f3.0. Then we got a 50 megapixel wide sensor, f1.7, and then this right here is that ultra wide, which is 12 megapixel f2.2. And with those cameras at the back, you can record videos up at 8K 30 frames, 4K up to 120 frames. Wait, I need to actually see that. Holy shit. Let's quickly check that out. Okay, I don't care. I don't care. Come on. Let me just get to it. Come on. There we go. Video. So there was this. What? So apparently 1080p doesn't get you. It doesn't get you that high refresh rate, but 4K does. Okay, interesting. And let's see, is this going to be slow motion? Nope, that is not a slow motion. Okay. So, you get 4K 120 frames per second. That is insane. Nice. So that's the back cameras. Now as a selfie right here, we got a 32 megapixel 2.2 f wide sensor, which does 4K 30 and 1080p up to 60. So no 60 at 4K here again. Again, meaning from most Xiaomi devices, that's been the case. That's why I'm saying again. But don't get me wrong, the back cameras right here, superb. Now, if we take a look at the internals, the device also doesn't hold back. We have a 7000 mAh battery, which is very big. And it's big because the phone decides to not be a little scammy trash like Samsung is and skimp out on components. So Xiaomi here puts a silicone carbon battery, which allows the battery to have higher capacity with the same size, like physical size. So that's why we have 7000 milliamps and the device isn't, super big like phones used to be with such a battery. Additionally, it can be charged at a whopping 100 watts wired and 50 watts wirelessly, so that's great. We have Dimensity 9500 processor powering this and 12 gigabytes of RAM with 256, 512 or 1 terabyte of storage. And each option using the UFS 4.1 storage type, which gives us the nice benefit of having quick read and write speeds for instance, this kind of videos that you would be capturing at 4K 120 frames. So we shouldn't have that much, processing where you have this take a photo and we have this, preview. It just spins, loads and loads, right? The storage type basically makes it manage this much faster. So that's basically all the information for this device that I wanted to go through. Other than that, like I was mentioning, the build quality was here aluminum frame, which is pretty nice. We have our volume rockers and power button right here on the right side. On the top we get absolutely nothing, not even IR blaster anymore. On the left side we just get more antennas, and other than that, clean side. And at the bottom we have our SIM tray, which this is just a SIM tray. As you can clearly see, dual SIM card to be more precise, but SIM only nonetheless. Then we get our microphone, the Type-C charging port and speakers right here, and some subtle branding at the back, Xiaomi and Leica, as this is partnership with Leica. And yeah, so like I was mentioning before, there is potentially a device that I might recommend that I find better. Now, in terms of cameras, I'm going to say this up front, it's not going to be better. I don't even need to have them side by side. I can tell you it's not going to be better, primarily just because in terms of specifications, this device can record at 4K 120 frames per second, which is pretty damn nice and also not very common. So if you really want that, that's fantastic. But if 4K 120 frames per second isn't something that you're going to be looking for, because it is going to be taking a decent amount of storage on your phone, you could probably at that point you would be using only 60, and if that's as far as you're gonna go, you could look at the F8 Ultra Poco, which basically offers almost identical specifications with minor differences. So in terms of cameras, it has a triple 50 megapixel wide periscope ultra wide, does 8K 30, 4K 60 without that 120, and 32 megapixel selfie that does a 4K 30 and 1080p 60, which is the same case, if I remember correctly, here, right? Was this doing the same kind of selfie? Yep, same selfie limits. Now the downside is that F8 Ultra has a smaller battery by 500 milliamps, so it's at 6,500 instead of the 7,000 here, but charging speeds are the same, 150 of wired and wireless. But where it stands up outside of this one, and I would say it's a little bit better, specifically for the fact that it costs less, is in the processor. It's using the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5. Now that is going to be a faster processor than what we have right here. It's the newest one from Snapdragon, and it is their highest end one. So for that you get faster processor, and that's really what it boils down to. You get faster processor while paying less money. And it's also from Poco, and it also retains other benefits, for instance, like the IP ratings, which this one I didn't actually talk about. Has IP68, dust tight and water resistant, immersible up to 1.5 meters for 30 minutes, while the Poco gets IP also 68, so basically the same thing, immersible up to 1.5 meters for 30 minutes. So everything else is about the same, so there's not much difference between them. They share very close similarity to each other, with the difference being the camera on this phone is better and the battery on this phone is bigger. But the Poco F8 Ultra comes at a price of, let me just quickly find where I had the Xiaomi opened up. So it comes at a price of 2,700 PLN, 700 PLN to USD. So that would be $730, while the Xiaomi 17T Pro comes at a price of 3,700, so $1,000 PLN more, which is about $200 more. Let me quickly check. So 3,700 PLN to USD. So that's $1,000, little over $1,000. So we're looking at a roughly close to $300 higher price tag for devices that are essentially the same. They're running the same OS, the same skin. Hardware-wise, the cheaper one, technically, in terms of performance, is better. In terms of cameras, worse. So it's honestly up to you which one you want. If you're planning to utilize that 4K 120, all the power to you. This would be a fantastic device for this. If you don't mind sacrificing that and saving a little bit of a buck, then check out the F8 Ultra, which will retain vast majority of what we have right here, with the only downside being the smaller battery, while giving you faster processor. So I find it to be a very negligible trade-off for $300 saved. That is like 30% of the price. That is not a small difference. So I highly recommend maybe looking at that if this is something that you'd be interested in, as it's from the same company. And also for people that are thinking, because it's Poco F8 Ultra, that it's the lower end compared to this one, I would say these times have passed. Poco is not really low end anymore. As you can see, it's running a Snapdragon, which, that being said, this processor isn't a low end processor, and on top of that, it's retaining all the IP ratings, also aluminum body, and all that stuff, so it doesn't sacrifice on build quality or anything else. So it's, in terms of how premium it is, it's on par with this. So anyway, with that being said, I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.